My name's Andrew and I'm from the UK. I've been eating a raw food lifestyle and diet for about 10 years now. I started off, well, I came to it from being basically getting ill, and I had arthritis in my knees. I was overweight. I had, what else did I have? Basically I was getting ill and I was on antibiotics. I was constantly ill, actually. I was on a supply of antibiotics, which was I had constant flu-like symptoms which weren't going. I ended up having my blood test done and found I had a lot of metals in my blood, a lot of mercury. My white blood cells were just sort of completely inactive, and that led me to having my mercury in my teeth taken out.
Wow.
So I've had my whole sort of the source of the mercury toxicity removed, and then that kind of just led me into like discovering about toxicity in the body, really.
Right. So when you said arthritis, what kind was it and how did it affect you?
Basically, it came to me when I mean, I'm a keen snowboarder, so I've noticed over the years just getting harder and harder to snowboard and suffering more and more at the end of the day. And also just running up steps, walking up steps, it got harder and harder to do. So a point came where I was walking up the Tor, which is a mountain in Glastonbury, quite a famous mountain, a Tor. I was walking up there one night and I literally just collapsed, my knees just collapsed underneath me, and it's just like, I need to do something to change this. And that's, yeah, I mean, it kind of came, my low point came when it was a New Year's Eve. We'd been clubbing and partying and just caning ourselves, and I basically just hit rock bottom.
And what were you eating at the time?
I was eating...
Was it a regular standard diet?
What I thought was quite a healthy diet.
Right.
And at the time it was like, I used to do sort of pastas and prawns and fried rice and a lot of vegetarian. I've never really been a big meat eater, but then I would eat chicken burgers every now and then, and a lot of alcohol. I was drinking quite a lot of wine. Yeah, I mean, I was in a bit of a self-destructive mode when I came to London from Australia, and I was just kind of partying with no, you know, it was like getting let loose in a candy shop coming to London for me, and I sort of hit rock bottom, you know, a couple of years later.
Right. So what happened? Like, what was the turning point for you?
Turning point, really. The turning point for me was at the end of a trip that we did with my wife into Europe. We did a big long trip over there, and I was just on antibiotics the whole time. I was smoking, I was drinking, and we came back and it was New Year's Eve and it was a massive party we went to, and it just took us a long time to recover from that party. And I was on antibiotics, I was taking loads of stuff and just really abusing myself.
So what happened next?
Next was like, it was a decision I made, was like, I need to change. I basically hit rock bottom. So the only way was either to keep killing myself or to find a way out. And I just started searching online. I sort of got told about live and dry blood analysis. I had that, and that sort of woke me up to like, okay, my blood is in an amazingly bad state. And so that sort of led me to about diet. I then started looking into diet, and it just kept coming up, raw foods.
Right.
And I thought, right, I've got to check out this raw food thing. And then I found a woman called Alyssa Cohen, who came over from the States, and she was teaching about raw foods and teaching teachers to become teachers. Right. So I went and studied with her and learned how to become a raw chef and how to make foods. And then I did that I've been teaching for about 8 years in London, the raw food school, helping people just with transition to raw foods, but that was more high-fat raw foods. Okay. A lot of nuts, a lot of seeds, a lot of oils, cacao butter, all this sort of stuff. And I did that, and I felt good for a number of years, but all the time I was having digestive issues.
Right.
Digesting the nuts, digesting just the heaviness of it. I was always going for colonics to try and clear myself out. I was always getting blocked up with the flax seeds and the dehydrated foods, and I couldn't quite work it out. And then it just came to me in the space of about a week, 80-10-10, 80-10-10, 80-10-10. It's like I just tuned into this, and it was like I kind of thought 80-10-10 was 80% raw, 10% something else, 10% cooked.
Right.
And I just thought, no, I want to be 100%. That's definitely not for me. It's just, and I missed it. And, I found it eventually, and I started reading this book, 80-10-10 book, and it made sense.
Right.
And all these things I've been experiencing, is like, wow, okay, I get it. And I started consuming, just following 80-10-10, and I had this sort of massive readjustment of my digestive system as my body was getting rid of the fats. And I used to think my candida was basically, don't eat fruit because it gives you candida.
Learn that.
And that was a massive awakening for me. It was like, it's actually the fats which are coating the cells and causing the blood to stay in the sugar to stay in the blood longer. And that for me was a big one, because that helped me no end, because it means I could eat more fruit. I also had troubles with keeping weight on my body.
Right. In the beginning.
Yeah, I was juicing, I was doing flaxseed crackers, I was doing kale chips, I was doing salads, but nothing really to fuel me.
So that wasn't the gourmet raw food?
Yeah.
Okay.
But even gourmet, it was like, I used to think I'm losing weight, so I've got to eat more nuts, more fats.
Right.
But it's actually I need to eat more calories from fruit.
And today, how long have you been on the 80-10-10 diet?
About 3 years now.
Okay. And what changes did you experience when you...
Changes I've experienced, I really want to exercise now. I really want to be fit. I've got the energy to be fit. I can keep up with my kids. I'm getting... my skin, I look more supple, like I don't look so dried out. I think there's a saying, you eat juicy fruits, you look juicy, you eat dehydrated foods, you look dehydrated. And I've got more energy, my digestion, my elimination, it's just like clockwork, it's smooth, it's beautiful.
And what happened with all your other issues that you had before? They went away early in the process?
Absolutely. The arthritis is gone, it's but it's something with what I'm discovering now is what raw foods is eliminating, is what raw foods does. It exposes the emotions,
right?
And that's something I'm now working through with my wife, dealing with emotions. So that's been something which I'm now. It's a journey, but yeah, I mean, I love eating this way. It's it makes sense.
And do you have a good advice for somebody who has the same problems that you used to have?
The best advice is, the thing that I've learned is to make sure you get enough calories and make sure you consume enough greens.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are two things that I really have. You can either consume enough calories but forget the greens, or eat enough greens, too many greens, but not get the calories.
Right.
It's just getting that balance.
Okay.
And I do green smoothies to sort of get both of them at the same time, but just eating enough greens and consuming enough fresh, ripe fruit. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would like to know more about the way I live and eat, you can find more information on my website. Here you can also watch videos with people who cured themselves the same way as I did, and the address is www.FruityLou.com.